Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Music We Love podcast, and that's the name I've chosen for now, Music We Love.
Now the second one.
Unless we change it.
Now I said this, you can't change the order.
Oh my god, no. As you can tell by the title, we're doing this about the kings of heavy metal themselves.
Oh, you just said turtle. It sounded like you said turtle.
We'll have to listen back to that.
The kings of turtles.
The kings of heavy metal, Metallica.
Not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Or Metallica. What do you mean I said king
it
of turtles? It
sounded like you said turtles. Like, as you could tell by the turtles. So, what have they got to do with this? They're Metallica fans.
Have you seen that turtle that does the Owen Wilson impression? Okay,
all right, anyway.
Getting back on topic. We're doing this about the undisputed best-selling heavy metal band of all time, Metallica.
Yes.
And probably the first big metal band that I got into, at least.
Yeah, I think pretty much. Quite a few people.
So for people who don't know, they formed in the early 1980s.
It sounds right.
Yeah. And it used to when they first started, Lars Ulrich, the drummer, put an advert in a paper looking for a person who would play heavy metal. He found Jimmy Hetfield, or James Hetfield, and then found Dave Mustaine and Ron McGovney, I think his name is. Dave Mustaine was fired. He went on to form Megadeth, which are another good band. Potential future episode if George has ever listened to them.
I have.
You have?
Yeah. It's not a lot.
They're not as good, are they?
No.
Casually,
well, that's that one done.
Casually shitting on Mustaine.
Fuck you.
Then they hired Kirk Hammett. They hired what are you doing?
Sorry, I sound like it was crackling. I was just making sure.
They hired Kirk Hammett to replace Dave Mustaine, and then Ron McGovney left, and they hired Cliff Bernstein.
That'll do.
They hired Cliff to replace him, and Cliff is well known for his lead bass approach. You can hear it in For Whom the Bell Tolls. Just go and listen to their record, you understand. Yeah. And they kind of changed the landscape of music with thrash and stuff like that. I mean, like they weren't the only band doing that. They're kind of like, if I can compare it, the grunge movement. They're kind of the Nirvana of grunge. So the Nirvana of metal, because Nirvana weren't the only band in that grunge thing, but they were the biggest one.
That's the one that's kind of known for it.
Yeah, exactly. And whether or not they're the best is up to dispute, but they've made some pretty fucking good albums.
Definitely back. More of the older stuff, definitely.
Definitely. Saint Anger, nope.
Yeah, that's kind of the. I think the Black Album's the turning point, isn't it? After that.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's a thing I was reading about this the other day, and the reason why we're doing Metallica is this reason. For the past couple of weeks, I've got back into Metallica seriously.
Yeah. And
you heard me play guitar in the Green Day part. But learning to play Metallica songs at the skill level I'm at is a lot easier than it used to be, and
definitely. Yeah.
But that picking, oh my God, it's really hard.
Yeah, and it takes time to get used to. It
makes me respect that band a lot more.
That shows a level of skill in the guitar work.
Anyway, I was reading an interview because you were talking about that would being the turning point about Load and Reload, that kind of period when they started getting a bit more mainstream, and apparently the crux behind that was Kirk Hammett and Lars Ulrich. Because James Hetfield wanted to stay in that sweet spot between mainstream and while still being quite metal. But they went, we need to kind of evolve our sound a little bit because we just kind of always sound the same. And that's why they have that bluesy kind of sound on those two albums and that kind of southern rock thing. And James Hetfield fucking hated it. And you know how he's got short hair and that? He was told basically we need to look a bit different.
Yeah, it's not good really.
And I don't know, I was reading that interview, but it also revealed something kind of ugly about James Hetfield I don't like. That really turned me off him. He's really homophobic, apparently.
Okay.
You don't get that when you watch... Like, if he was to talk, he seems like such a chill guy that wouldn't bother him. One of those kinds of people. But, like, hearing it, it's like, oh, it's quite ugly, actually.
Yeah, I guess it's another one of these bands, if you kind of just turn off the stuff behind it, just listen to the music.
Yeah.
You're kind of alright. Obviously, there's some bands you can't do that with.
No. Cannibal Corpse, no cunt, looking at you. No, the thing that I like James Hetfield as a person, but some of his views on hunting, I just do not agree with it at all. I think he's an amazing musician and singer, kind of a douche of a human person, of a being.
He can be, yeah.
Which is quite ironic because you get that a lot in heavy metal. Like Dave Mustaine is a huge prick.
It's just kind of the attitude of it, I think, that comes with it.
yeah, you kind of get into all that.
I'm not like labelling everyone as a massive dick who's
You kind of did.
metal musician. I know it sounded like that, but
I just the blunderbuss lawyer is present in case George says something else, and he's rifling through his papers. He's actually a full-blown alcoholic. He's literally like, "You're driving me insane, boys." He's a full-blown alcoholic at this point. All the fucking shit we've put him through, the copyright strikes. He might hang himself.
he almost did it in the fire temple part.
Oh my god, yes. Link in the description. Anyway,
yeah, I'm not insulting everyone in heavy metal.
Let's get back to the topic. Anyway, when did you first hear Metallica? Good answer.
Probably a couple of years after I started listening to Green Day, probably.
Would you like to be more specific?
In secondary school, about year 11 or something.
That's better.
So it's pretty much the end of secondary school, and must have been Master of Puppets or something I heard first, that kind of stuff.
Oh, the thrash stuff.
Yeah, I think it was that, and then I think the next thing probably was the first one was when I heard For Whom the Bell Tolls, when we went and saw Zombieland, yeah.
I'll make sure you don't hit the bed because it's from making them. Oh,
it's fine. Okay. That's what this is for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, For Whom the Bell. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's probably one of the first.
That was 2009, so that would have been like year 9.
Maybe it is earlier then. Maybe I put it a bit out. But I think from now I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, and looked into it, and then worked out more.
Yeah, like my one is a little bit weirder, but a little bit more personal. People may know that I used to write fan fiction, and one of my favourite genres of fan fiction is Star Fox, because I fucking love Star Fox. And there was you know what a songfic is?
Go on.
It has song lyrics in it to try and get across emotions.
I'm still not very familiar with this fan fiction universe world thing.
There's
a lot to it. Most of it's sexual. That's pretty much what I've gathered.
I read more than write nowadays, especially sexual stuff. But like I remember specifically the Unforgiven 2 being used as lyrics. Right. Do you remember how that song goes?
Kinda.
The door is locked now under wicked skies. That one.
Right. Yeah.
That was used as song lyrics because they portrayed Fox McCloud as a huge emo, basically. Like sitting, I was like, these lyrics sound bad, but this song sounds pretty awesome. I'm gonna go check it out. And I was like, oh my god! I was like, it's so fucking heavy. And
yeah.
Then we went on a holiday to Ireland, and I put on my iPod the whole of the Oasis discography and the whole of the Metallica one. So when we do our Oasis episode, it's going to tie back into that, because that's when I first listened to Slide Away, Shake and Make by Oasis. That's what got me into them. Nice. And I first listened to the Unforgiven. I had Unforgiven 2 and 3. I don't know why I got the third one specifically, but I listened to them on loop, and then I had more. So like I had stuff like, when on that holiday I bought on iTunes, because you had the internet there. I was buying their albums.
It wasn't that long ago, jeez. We had the internet.
I was like buying the album on their albums on iTunes. So like Black Album, getting more and more into it.
Yeah.
And it pretty much just progressed from that. I remember my dad telling me a story about them when he saw them just after, might be 2006, a couple of years after the Saint Anger album came out.
Yeah.
And they were just doing that. They were doing those tours to kind of get back some goodwill, like playing fan requests and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And he said they were the loudest band he's ever seen. Basically, they're a band that I still want to see live.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's just they don't really do a lot, especially not over here.
They go to like they mostly go to Latin America. I've noticed. Just I don't know why.
It's a bit weird.
I didn't think Latin America's known for its heavy metal, but that's pretty much our experiences with them.
It's kind of evolved. It wasn't for me. It was never something that I like kind of binged on straight away. It kind of just gradually came, and then got properly into it.
I've got to ask, because I'm genuinely curious. When you were like 13, 14, were you one of them kids that listened to Slipknot?
Yeah.
He just nodded. Happened. He just nodded. People didn't.
That was my first CD. My first proper CD I asked for or bought.
Which one?
Probably Slipknot.
It's a blank CD.
So All Hope Is Gone, I think.
Aren't they always called like Volume 1 or Volume 2 or something?
It might be, but basically around that kind of time. So whoever knows what that is, that's pretty much the one I got.
Would have been about mid-2000s. So is that the one with Psychosocial on it?
I think so.
That's a good song.
I don't know why. It was just where I started. So I guess metal kind of came first in a way for me, and then I kind of softened down and then expanded to everything.
That's a metaphor for George's sex life, people. If you ever wanted to find out about that, you can also
soon.
It's okay, Gerald. It's the lawyer. He's opening his bottle of gin over it.
Oh, he set fire to himself.
Oh, not again. We've got to get a lawyer for him. Oh, his wife left him.
The kids died too.
It's one of Metallica. I think his life is based on one of the Metallica songs, isn't it? Which we should probably get back to.
One of them, yes.
Oh, basically, they are important in heavy metal. I mean, Black Sabbath are credited with like making that genre.
Yeah.
But they were never really like. It's kind of hard to like, because I didn't live in those days, so it's a bit hard to describe.
Yeah.
They weren't like, okay, it's hard to compare to them something now. Like, they're like one of them. They want like one of them DJs that's really talented, but nobody listens to. That's what Black Sabbath were like in the day, and they barely sold any records at all.
Basically.
And then basically it became a movement in like America, a small one, like metal, and for some reason it just took off. I don't know what the crux of that was. Maybe it was I mean like there's the British new wave of heavy metal, like Iron Maiden, Motorhead, Diamond Head, bands like that, and they kind of got really popular, but they were all part of that kind of, they were almost kind of a glam scene, wasn't it, where they were all like costumes, and I mean like Motorhead weren't, but like like kind of costumes and in your face.
It was a different kind of thing, yeah.
And it Metallica kind of like the dark, seedy side of that, where like they're quite.
America had the heavy, dark,
lyrics and shit like that.
This is the shit.
And like I like Metallica for that, because something I've always enjoyed about their music is, while a bit over the top sometimes in terms of lyrics, I mean, fucking hell, Unforgiven 2 is like the most over the top emo thing of all time. It feels very honest. There's something that I like about Johnny Cash as well, is that it always felt very genuine, and even if the lyrics aren't the most amazing thing ever, I always felt like they were trying to paint more of a picture than anything.
Yeah, it's not really about what they're going for, massive, meaningful, all of that. It's kind of just putting something like, there's a simple message and just
putting an image in it.
Pretty much, yeah.
They're also one of them bands that when they started, they were so against doing things like music videos, they just refused to. And it's how ironic that's changed.
Yeah, pretty much. That's something we can get on to.
So favourite Metallica albums? While I'm yawning over here.
Master of Puppets.
That's pretty much ground zero, I think.
Yeah.
Like they I remember I was looking at a list of 1,001 albums you must hear before you die. That's the only Metallica one on there. That shows you the quality of it. It's just a great album.
That Black Album.
Do you have? I kind of have a soft spot for Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, that's up there as well.
I don't know if it's just the mix, because the mixing's pretty bad on those first two albums.
Yeah, that's the problem. Quite like Justice for All as well, actually.
Do you? Even though that's got the worst mixing of all time on it.
Not from a mixing side, which is very strange for me, knowing what I'm usually like, that kind of stuff. As a song stuff, some of it's, I don't know, has more of a brutal edge to it, some of it. I quite like it.
Do you know why, don't you?
Go on.
Because Cliff had just died.
Yeah.
Cliff Burton, that's his name. Let's try and remember what his fucking name was. And they just literally just got it's like Lars is in some kind of monster documentary. The day after the funeral, they were already auditioning bass players because they just weren't grieving. They just moved on.
Yeah, it's like a business as well, isn't it? So you kind of have to.
Yeah, and I get what you mean, but they should have hired a bassist, because it's really weird making an album with just guitars and drums.
Yeah. That's
a joke, people. I'm saying that the mixing's really bad because
Yeah,
you can't do the fucking bass.
There isn't any.
Have you heard the someone did a thing on YouTube where they covered the whole album on the bass and mixed it together as if that was the bass bit, and I'm like, that's genius, because it's just called Justice for All (properly mixed). But like starting with the Black Album, they started getting really good mixing. I mean, like I don't like Bob Rock's a bit of a scumbag, but like he understood that you need bass to make things heavy.
Yeah, basically that's what does it. That's the underlying thing. If you don't have a bass note to a chord, you won't get the punch.
Have you seen? There's a video that talks about taking the bass out of metal songs. Master of Puppets, it does it, and it sounds really weird. You know that bit at the beginning goes dun 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 dun. It sounds really weird with the bass taken out of it because it's really trebly and really like edgy.
Yeah, it would. That's why you have the bass, because then you get the full spectrum of the sound, so it sounds normal.
It just sounds really like it's a mark of how good Cliff Burton was as a musician as well. If you listen to the bass line from Master of Puppets, and you know the bit of he did that with his fingers. Yeah, and
cool.
Down picking, basically like basically typewriter fingers, fucking John Entwistle, and he was insane as a bass player, and sad that he died. But like, I don't know, like. I feel like we're rambling a little bit, but like
that's fine. That's what these are.
Yeah, pretty much. Just talking about a band. What?
What about you? Anyway, we never did you.
Oh, favorite albums.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a really soft spot from Death Magnetic at the minute because I've been listening to like That Was Just Your Life and stuff. That was the riff I kept playing earlier. All Nightmare Long, Judas Kiss.
The mixing on that sort of stuff's pretty perfect.
Do you know, I have read a thing recently, because that's mixed by Rick Rubin, the loudest mixer in the entire planet. He's well known for making things so much fucking louder than they need to be. And someone wrote an essay in the New York Times about him saying that he's in danger of making a whole generation deaf. Oh, he's not joking, because I was listening to All Nightmare Long at full blast the other day coming home from uni. And actually, I'm gonna do it. Where's my iPod? I want to show you how loud this is. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've got to edit that out. So like, yeah, we just we paused for a second just so I could get my iPod and headphones out. Right, I'm holding the mic about 3-4 feet away.
And you mean you're holding the headphones?
So I'm holding the headphones. That's at full blast.
Hang on. That's still a fair amount. And your headphones aren't particularly loud?
No, I'll play a different song by a different band.
This is now our low budget radio solution.
That's how it should sound normally. That's at full blast though.
Yeah.
Right, I didn't realise basically the point of the story was when I took those headphones off, I didn't realise how loud that actually is. I mean, like, if I just put them over my ears, it's basically the same volume, so that's how loud that gets.
That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
And that's just the mixing on like their newer albums is just insane.
Yeah,
because
it's
like
good as well though.
But it's well mixed, but it's so loud.
Yeah, which is a bit loud.
I don't know if it's just because they're getting older and deaf, but like,
can't hear it.
What? That was All Nightmare Long that I played, by the way, the one that I was talking about a second ago.
That was All Nightmare Long by Metallica.
Yeah, by the band Megadeth. So what about individual members of the group? Do you want to go through them? Okay. Like the ones they've got now, not the ones we've already. I mean, listen, look, Jason Newsted was great backing vocalist too. But he's not in the band anymore. Shame. James Hetfield, all kind of said in my opinion, he's a great guitarist and singer.
Yeah.
That's all we need to say about him.
Yeah, that's enough.
Lars Ulrich, a better businessman than the drummer.
Yeah, basically.
To be totally honest. Many jokes have been made about Lars Ulrich's drumming. The fact that he never ever practices. I don't know if you've ever read that. He never ever warms up ever before a gig. The only time they practice is tuning room, which is not good enough. I mean, like, when I say practice, I mean practice is like by himself, like listening to records, which is how you should learn to drum. He only ever practices when he's playing with the band, which is bad, because you won't you won't expand yourself. So he basically only has one style and one style only. Which like you can do that. Like Dave Grohl is an amazing drummer, but you can tell that he only knows that one style. Whereas like someone like Stuart Copeland knows loads of different ways to drum.
Yeah,
that's what I mark as a good drummer. Someone who can do loads of different things as well as to keep time. And Lars is well known for not being able to keep time as well.
Or being innovative. So
I like him as a person. I think he's genuinely very funny, and he's got a nice wit about him. And also something he does not get any credit for, composing the songs. I don't know if you've ever seen any making ofs before.
Yeah, he's quite involved with that.
He doesn't write the riffs. He helps organise them into a package. Yeah. So like what he'll do is, so for example, him and James are the one that mainly compose the songs. So they'll jam for a bit on a riff that James will play, and he'll say, "Oh, we should move that here." So he'll help organise a song, which I respect him for.
He does have quite a brain behind it, basically.
Yeah, and I respect that because it shows you that you don't have to necessarily be a musician to understand how music works. Yeah. He knows that people want to hear it in a certain way. So like there's the bit when he starts talking about All Nightmare Long. The bit at the beginning, like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, he suggested putting that at the beginning because that was only going to be at the end. And he went, well, we need something to lead into that. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, that bit.
Yeah, you can't just have it, it'd just be too much.
And he's a
That's
good...
what, like, the build-up is. That's what it's for.
He's a good business mind as well. He comes up with good ideas for Metallica playing places, like the Metallica Borrow Quest.
Yeah.
His idea.
It is useful, yeah.
Metallica playing in the Antarctic. His idea. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's so funny. But like I'll say, Lars is also a good live drummer in the sense that he's a performer. He knows what he's doing. Yep. He runs around like an idiot.
There's that. It's just a shame he's not
technically good.
Yeah, he'd be pretty much a perfect drummer, I think.
Yeah,
apart from almost perfect.
I will say, in terms of playing in Metallica, playing with James Hetfield, he's the best drummer in the world for that. That's all that he needs to do.
Yeah, they've got what they need.
Yeah, pretty much. Kirk Hammett. He's kind of the opposite to Benjamin Button. He started off really good. Over the years, he's slowly gotten more and more shit. And I mean that with every respect. If you've seen him play live recently, it's a bit cringy.
It's starting to go a bit downhill.
It's like he's I don't know if he's got like dementia, but he's like forgetting his own riffs.
Yeah.
And like his actual ability to compose stuff is a little bit compared to James and Lars. And I'm not shitting on him as a guitarist. He's a fucking great guitarist. He knows he is. But like
some of the juice is gone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, OJ's escaped again. The juice is loose. Like there's a bit in the Some Kind of Monster documentary where all he has to learn is the riff from Some Kind of Monster, like, and he cannot understand how it goes. He just cannot get it, and I'm like, mate, what is wrong with you? It's such an
It's very
easy
strange
riff.
for someone who's so good.
No, sorry, I need to tell you this story. Carry on with what you're saying though.
To not be able to do things like that, it's a bit of a strange musician in that sense.
Have you seen Some Kind of Monster?
Right.
The documentary.
Yeah.
There's the deleted scene that kills me every single time I see it because it shows you that while they're good musicians, they do not get the business stuff.
Go on.
There's a bit when they're watching the documentary back, to like confirm whether they want this bit or on that bit.
Yeah.
And it's Lars jogging interspliced with them all in a business meeting, and they're watching it, and Lars goes, "Hey man, I wasn't jogging that day," and I'm like, and they're like. And they're all like, no, you were there that day. You weren't jogging, you were there. And it's like, they've edited it together, you pillocks. Do you not get that? Hey, man, I wasn't jogging that day. It's like they don't understand how film works. And there's another bit as well that cracks me up. They get all these fucking rappers in to, like, rap over something. And Lars goes, oh, hey, guys, can you do, like, rap I'm a Loser? And a fucking guy, like, one of the rappers, like, big black guy, eating a bag of chips, goes, hey, man, I'm not going to say that. It just kills me. Hey, I'm not gonna say that's funny. It's really fucking funny. Hey man, I wasn't jogging that day. It's like, do you not understand how film works?
You know.
Oh man, I love Metallica, but holy shit, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But like, oh my god, that documentary's really good, by the way. People, Some Kind of Monster, go get it. It's been re-released on Blu-ray. It's probably one of the best documentaries made about a band ever. It's not shy of showing you the fact that they were not friends. And they were like getting in each other's faces. There's something about dodgy about that. The therapist they have. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
He's really creepy and dodgy.
It's very weird, all of that.
He kind of gets them into a really uncomfortable places where they're being too vulnerable around each other. So, like, for instance, there's a bit when they're talking about James Hetfield had an argument with Jason, which is why he left. He was like, I don't want you to do solo projects because it takes away from the strength of Metallica. Bullshit. It's a bullshit reason. But basically, this therapist makes it into a thing about control and about needing to be in control of everything. And so, like, they're at each other's throats just for a misunderstanding. And because James was being a bit of a prick, admittedly. But, like, there's a bit when Lars is like, oh, I've never known you. Oh, this guy's saying that we don't need this guy. And James is like, I need this guy. He's helping me. And they're like, no, you don't fucking need this guy. And he says, all my life you've been all right, but now we've got this guy and you're fucking doing this. And they're like really at each other's throats. And it's like, it's interesting to watch. But there's a bit that cracks me up in that as well. Not just the bit I told you, where it's really famous, where Lars goes, fuck, like that. And then he gets really in his face. He's like, fuck, like that. James Hetfield was going to punch him. Yeah. You can see his fist clench in utter rage. He's like, I'm going to hit this fucking guy. I like that movie. It's really funny. It's really funny as well at points.
Yeah, it's got a bit of everything.
That fucking bit with the rappers. Oh my god, that kills me still. Hey man, I'm not going to say that. Oh, and there's a bit that's really famous because you know that Saint Anger hasn't got any guitar solos. Guitar solos on it. Yeah. There's a really good bit when Kirk is playing a guitar solo over one of the songs, and Lars is like, yeah, can you come into the control booth, Grace? And they all come in, and him and Bill Broth are like, I don't like that solo. I don't think we should have it on there. I don't think we should have it on there. And Kirk's like, oh, what's wrong? And he went, we don't want to put solos on the album. And he's like, why? And he went, because we feel like it's a little bit outdated, the concept of a guitar solo. And there's a really fucking great fucking bit of wisdom from Kirk Hammett that he just pulls out, and he was absolutely right. He says, guitar solos are too dated, and Kirk Hammett says that's fucking bullshit. If we take the guitar solos out now, it dates it to this period, which is what all the metal bands were doing then. And he's right, it totally does. Yeah. It dates it. When you hear one of those songs, you know him automatically when it's from. And I'm like, he was totally right. And Lars Ulrich and Bob Rock knew shit. It's funny watching. Seriously, if you want to know more about Metallica, watch that documentary. It's really interesting. They really get at each other's throats in it, and it's funny to watch. And as people, they're really entertaining. We haven't mentioned Rob, the bassist.
No.
He's a fucking great bassist.
Yeah.
An absolute lad as well. I've seen him go out of his way for his fans. Like, really put himself out, go and say hi to them and stuff like that, make an effort. I'm not saying the others don't.
But yeah, he's the one.
He's the new guy, pretty much. He's been in that band for like 20 years now. But like, because he was the new guy, he understands as a fan what it's like. There's a really good bit in that documentary when they're auditioning bass players, and you get to see like every metal bass player. Like there's the guy from Nine Inch Nails, or used to be in Nine Inch Nails. There's Marilyn Manson's bassist. There's Rob, who they do a really good montage of that because they start playing For Whom the Bell Tolls, and as they cycle through that, they show every bassist playing it, to show you how they do it, and it all sounds really weird. There's the bassist from the Josh Homme band, not Queens of the Stone Age, KYUSS.
I know what you mean, yeah.
His bass tone is really bad for that song because it's meant to be like that, really like heavy and distorted. He only has the wah but doesn't have the distortion, and it sounds really weak.
Yeah, it won't work.
They're all really talented guys, but they were looking for someone who would fit in that band.
Yeah, and it basically has to fit like nothing happened.
And Rob just like fucking nails that bit, and they start playing Battery, and the bass bit to Battery is like impossible. It's the bass like that.
Yeah,
and he's the only one who doesn't use a pick, and that's what they were looking for as well because they want it to be more similar to Cliff.
Nice.
And they say something really interesting in that, which always got to me a little bit, just because I thought that's kind of interesting. They say if Cliff had walked in that day, they wouldn't have hired him.
Okay.
Because they're just different people, and I'm like, that's quite interesting because, like, if you think about it, if you apply it to other musicians, would Paul McCartney work with John Lennon if he was still alive? We never know. We'll never know because they might have been he might have become a totally different person. Might have just given up music.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting comment that I always liked, but what haven't we covered about Metallica?
Their live kind of shows?
Oh, live shows.
Like that?
Yeah.
I know we kind of talked about wanting to see it and stuff, but
you might want to jump in here because you're probably more familiar with that than I am.
They've done some interesting stuff for their live shows. I remember seeing one thing I don't know if it was the audience or they gave a load of people cameras. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen that.
I don't know if it was audience, but I think it might be all of them. They gave about 100 cameras and got them all to film it to make basically this video
That's pretty cool.
for this show.
And then
I saw it a while ago.
and then didn't get them back.
Yeah. It looked like a really interesting idea. Get it from the audience perspective.
Have you
You've
seen?
got every angle then, basically.
Have you seen that show they did in France when they got all the black balls to fall down? Have you seen what James and Kirk did by accident? Kirk boots it and smacks a kid right in the face. Have you seen that? It's fucking great. Just as a visual demonstration to George, basically this kid is like 4 and he's about to hit it, right? Kirk boots it. They're literally that far away from each other. The kid just falls into the crowd, never to be seen again. And then Jesus. James, about 5 minutes later, in what song was he playing? Oh, Seek and Destroy, that was it.
Yeah.
That was like the last song. He boots it right into the mic stand and the mic stand just falls into the crowd. He's like, no, I need it back. It's like, oh my God, that was great. And one of them falls on Lars and like knocks him to the ground and they're like trying to play. And oh God, it's like, it was such a clever idea but also such a stupid idea because it was so funny. But like, they do really interesting things like that.
They do try with their live shows. And from a sound point of view, their live shows are amazing from what I've heard.
Perfect. Pretty much.
I can't remember the guy who mixes her live stuff, his name, but I watched a few interviews and he knows what he's doing. He's really good.
It always sounds full, no matter what.
And it's pretty standardised as well. Some bands will sound different wherever they go. They
always sound the same.
They sound the same.
Which, well, you'd say is a bad thing, but if for a live band, that's pretty much what you want, to sound similar all the time.
That's a tough job to do when you're going to all these different arenas with very small time.
Did you see them? Something I like about them is that they always challenge themselves. They played at Glastonbury. Like Glastonbury, if you're American, basically is a British music festival, which does not play metal. It's not Download. Download is more of a Metallica thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Glastonbury is more known for hip hop.
It's more of a
pop
hippie thing, kind of years ago, basically, isn't it? That kind of scene.
Glastonbury's great for hip hop. Jay-Z's set there, you can watch that. Kanye's watched his set. It was amazing. For half an hour, Kanye set was about as good as it can get. And then it got
pretty crazy.
And then it got
unless you're working on the lighting team and you're incredibly fucked off because you had to put up 50,000 lights.
And then it was for about half an hour as good as it can get. And it got really shit. Like Metallica played at Glastonbury, and there was so much hate because they were like, they're not the band that you want. The problem is it's the dynamics of the sound because it's an open air festival. The sound just gets lost because there's so much wind about. In a closed area, they're great. And it sounded fine because they had the sound mixing guy. It sounded absolutely fine, and
he knows what he's doing.
They sounded in top shape. They sounded really good, and they kind of blew me away a little bit. I was not expecting that.
It went pretty well, yeah.
It went about as well as you can want, and they always challenge themselves like that. Like they play. I can't remember the last time they played Download, but they play Glastonbury, like I just said.
Yeah.
They play all these really obscure festivals just to try and. So like, there's something that I like about them as well. Did you hear what Lars said about playing Glastonbury? He went, it was just a chance to make new friends and fans. That's all it was to them.
Nice.
It's not the best. It's not the creative defining moment. We just want people to like our music.
Yeah, I think they've done that more than enough times already. Anyway,
simple as it gets. And I kind of like them that they've kind of morphed into this thing now where they're just doing it for the fun.
It kind of seems like that.
We're not trying to change any.
They've kind of had the hard kind of business push in a way. Now it's just kind of settling back into let's just play some music, get out to some people. Did
you see the Through the Never film?
I don't think I did that one.
Do you know what it is?
I've heard about it, but not a lot.
Do you know what do you know about it?
Well, you just explain it. It's easy.
Okay. Basically, it's a concert film spliced in with a story. Oh, that's it. You know how The West was won by Led Zeppelin when it's got that really weird story in it?
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
The story is okay because it's got Dane DeHaan in it, who played Harry Osborn in Amazing Spider-Man 2 and was shit in it. But he's alright in that film, and it's spliced in with concert footage, and it's weird watching it because in cinema it's mixed for the cinema.
Yeah.
So it's not like mixed for PA. It's like they've been recording the sound, and it was like, oh my god. In a cinema, this is loud. It's like, oh my god, this is so cool. It was like they were live streaming a performance. That's what it sounded like.
Nice.
But like, it was truly great. It was one of their best live performances, and it was what a one to pick for that film. They were like, Oh yeah, the plot to the film was basically Dane DeHaan plays a roadie for them, and he's late,
Yeah.
and that's basically the plot, where he's just
Okay.
trying to get to the gig and stuff's stopping him. That's the plot. But it's stuff happens in the plot that influences the song. So for example, he'll go to sleep and they'll stop playing Enter Sandman.
Okay.
Stuff like that. It's kind of interesting.
Fair enough.
As a film, it's shit because it's not a film. It's just things.
Yeah.
But like, it as an experience is pretty solid.
It's just another way of trying something out.
It was a box office bomb though. It made
course.
it made like no money.
I can't see why I would really.
It's pretty out there. But they've also made their own record label now, Blackened. It's only took them 20 years. Most bands do it straight away sometimes.
And actually, they want other thing of them. They're one of the only bands that have all their own stuff. Like for tours, they take their own equipment.
Oh, do they?
I'm pretty sure it's them.
Yeah, I can see that.
They have their own trucks and plane. They have all their own stuff.
That's pretty cool.
A bit like Maiden. They're the same, I think.
That's pretty cool. Come on, pretty sure U2 do that as well.
It works out cheap for them in the long run.
Mm.
I remember they spent like a fucking load on it, so they lost a load of money at the start, and it's made it all back over the years.
Is that during the Load tour?
It was part of one of the documentaries, an older one. I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, is that the Oh, I know what one you're talking about.
But I know this one. This is their equipment. They haven't hired it. They have their own PA.
That's pretty cool.
It saves money in the long run. It's a business thing with them.
Mm. One thing they're also known for, which is not a good thing, is Napster. Do you remember the Napster thing?
Right.
For people who don't remember, Napster is like a really early version of LimeWire or uTorrent, which basically let you illegally download free music. And Lars was one of the big names against it because he went, "Why should we give you music?
Yeah.
It's our job. We make money. We need to make money off of it." And people were like accusing him of being a sellout. I get what he was going for because ultimately you're devaluing it. However, if it had been an indie band, I maybe would have cared a bit more because it's a bit like Bono complaining about it. The guy's been in the business for like 20 years. Why does he care? It's not going to affect him. Lars does not really have much of an argument about devaluing it. People have been buying it for years.
Yeah, and they probably still will.
And my favourite quote that he's ever said is also something George Harrison said. On the news, fans were destroying their albums in protest. Like, why would you do this? You're meant to be a band of the people. You're meant to be for us. And Lars went, where did they get those albums? And he went, I probably bought them. And he went, oh, right then. So you have to buy them to break them. It's pretty much. Like, yeah. That's what George Harrison said when you remember when John Lennon said the bigger than Jesus thing?
Yeah.
And they were destroying them. George Harrison went, got to buy them to break them. Good lad. What a lad.
That's the thing.
I don't agree with the Napster thing. It's a bit old hat now, but like Lars was talking about it recently, saying that all other musicians were being pussies about it because they didn't want to upset their fans.
It's kind of one of those things that you couldn't really stop anyway. It's still going on now, and it's just growing, really, isn't it?
The thing that I like is when people try and adapt to that. Like Tom York adapted to it. He released an album on BitTorrent, his own album. The only thing he asked was, if you want to buy it on iTunes, don't. Send the money to charity and just torrent it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you something interesting about that is, did you also hear about Radiohead's doing the In Rainbows thing? Do you know about that?
Go on.
It was about 2007. They did a pay what you want for it.
Oh right, yeah.
So I like when bands do stuff like that. It's cool.
Good,
it's interesting, and they made quite a lot of money off of it actually.
The thing is, with that, you don't have to give a percentage to say iTunes or something. It's all yours, so you don't really lose money. In effect, as long as people pay for it, obviously.
I think the most someone paid for it was £30, and all the money went to charity anyway, so it didn't matter to them.
That's why it's good, because otherwise, if you did that, say for iTunes, they take about 25%, I think.
Kind of bullshit.
It might even be more.
What else can we talk about Metallica? Oh, bad points. What do you think is bad about that band? And something I actually have a pretty big complaint. Besides the fact some members have gotten worse over the years, they don't tend to be experimental with music. They kind of stick to the same thing. Apart from the only time they did experiment, which was a huge fucking failure, which is Saint Anger, one of the worst albums of all time. Oh my god, there's a really I was watching them in the tuning room.
Right.
And I was watching their Metallica by Request tour in preparation for this, and there's a really funny bit at the beginning where they're doing like it's one of them video intros that's broadcast to the crowd. They were going like, "Oh, so Metallica by Request, what do you think's going to get played?" and they were talking about what songs.
Yeah.
And they were saying, "Oh, let's go for the internet comments. Let's see what people can say. People are only ever nice on the internet." And the first comment is, "Get Lars to practice," and Lars just goes, just looks up really slowly. And there's another bit when it says, "Oh, Rob, you're the man." And everyone's like, "Oh, hey," and then the next comment is, "I hate Latinos." And there's another bit when oh god, what was it? I said they say, "Oh, I know what we should do. Let's play Lulu in the interval." Silence. It's like, and the whole crowd went, Lulu is Lulu's horrible.
I don't know how we missed that.
No, that's a collaboration with Lou Reed, the most insane man who's ever lived. I don't like Lou Reed. I think he's a piece of shit, to be honest. But I know he's a legend, and I know he's done some revolutionary things. I think he's a piece of shit. He can't sing, so God stop.
Yeah, no.
Well, he stopped now, but like, yeah, Lulu is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's If you want an example of what it's like, go to your kitchen. Keep playing this. Go to your kitchen while I'm talking. Grab the nearest pot you can, and just hit the floor with it. That's all. Just do that for 20 minutes, and you've got Lulu.
After smashing tomatoes in your ears,
or smashing them in with the pot.
Yeah.
No, basically, there's a 20-minute song on Lulu, which is just, I'm not joking, people, probably 2 riffs, and the rest of it is Lulu. Not Lulu. The rest of it is Lou Reed. The rest of it is Lou Reed just rapping over it, basically.
Have you ever actually listened to the whole thing in one go?
Once when it came out. I'm never doing it again.
I've never been able to.
Iced Honey's a good song. Iced Honey. What's the View? Oh, The View. Have you heard the meme about that?
Right, go on.
There's a bit in it where James Hetfield goes, "I am a table," like that in the background. And on the liner notes inside the on Wikipedia, when it has the liner notes, someone's edited it to James Hetfield, vocals, guitar, table. I'm gonna show you that later. It's really funny. And on Lou Reed's one, it says Lou Reed, guitar, vocals, apostrophes, rapping, question mark. Yeah, it's really weird. It's basically just them riffing while Lou Reed is saying poetry over it. Yeah. It's really strange. Not the worst thing ever, but you know, it's got some benefits to it. That's kind of all I got really about Metallica.
There's much more probably we could say, really, is there? Just the standard stuff.
They're a great band. If you go
to their newer stuff, actually.
Yeah, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Oh, we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, that's the thing I just thought of. We've missed the whole new stuff.
Great so far. I'm loving it. Rise Atlas Rise, great. Moth into Flame, fucking great.
Yeah.
Hardwired, pretty solid.
It's sounding good. It's
sounding energized, which I like. And did you see their performance on Howard Stern? Oh, not Howard Stern. Oh, was it Jimmy Fallon? It might be one of those American talk shows. And they played Moth into Flame. The energy was unbelievable. Nice. You could feel it crackling off of them. They were like all smiling and shit. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. They look so happy playing this.
Well, hopefully there's a chance that we'll get a tour soon.
Yeah, they're touring at the minute.
I like over here.
Oh yeah, you know where they're touring, don't you? Latin America. Latin fucking America.
It'll happen at some point.
Something made me laugh, speaking of Latin America. I was listening to the Smiths yesterday. We might do the Smiths at some point.
Okay, yeah.
There was an ad that said Mexoricity, something like that. It's supposed to be Morrissey with Mexico in it. And it was Morrissey's face with like all this like Mexican paint, Day of the Dead paint on it. Right. I was like, oh, is he doing a Mexican tour? It's a fucking Mexican tribute band. Like mariachi tribute band to Morrissey. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
that's the most surreal thing.
And I was like, are they touring in Mexico? No, they're touring in England. They're at the Brighton Centre in a couple of weeks. Mariachi Morrissey. Hey, I was in this band called the Smiths.
It's the weirdest thing I can imagine.
I got this song, The Boy with the Phono, in his side.
Oh dear.
How soon is now? Oh. Oh my god, can you fucking imagine that?
I'm gone.
George is fucking crying. Play the mariachi band. That's not mariachi. Oh my god, can you imagine?
Oh, I want to. We need to go.
Frankly, Mr. Shankly, it's the suspicion I felt. It pains my way, oh. Heisenberg.
Yeah, they're all fucking dressed like that as well.
Or like Heisenberg.
Yeah, no,
Or like the Blues
no.
Brothers. Or like Morrissey. Oh, can you imagine if they were singing, it's like, and they're doing William, it was really nothing, and he just goes, William, and just like takes his shirt off and just, will you marry me? Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, woo!
That was intense.
Okay.
I think we should end it there.
Okay, basically, if you want to listen to Metallica, Master of Puppets, Black
Yeah.
Album, new stuff. First 3 albums are pretty solid. Sorry, first 4 albums are pretty solid.
Yep.
Middle period's a bit eh.
Yeah.
Start again from Death Magnetic. Get back to me. Load and Reload. Take a little bit of getting into. Although I do have a really funny story about that if you want to hear it.
Go on.
Do you know what the most amount of time you can fit onto a CD is?
Depends on the quality, really.
An average CD.
It's just over an hour, isn't it?
80 minutes, roughly.
Yeah.
80 minutes exactly, actually.
I thought it was 79.
No, it ties into this story. Basically, it was when they were releasing Load, that was it. They were told by the record company it could only be 80 minutes because if it's over 80 minutes, it starts getting all really horribly compressed because it's trying to fit it onto the CD. So do you want to know what the runtime for that album is? 79:59. They just got like 1 second out of it.
Fucking hell.
And it's just it's a really funny thing lasted when they were like, what was it like cutting that bit out? And he went, well, it was just a 1 second. It's not like the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And he went, have you heard the battery drum track? I was like, oh my god, love you, Lars. That's pretty much it. Go watch Some Kind of Monster as well. That's a great documentary. Just don't listen to the album associated with it. We love you.
Yes.
Love you, Metallica. Please come to Brighton.
Yes.
Please, God.
Brighton. Them in the Brighton. That would be weird. That'd be awful. In the Brighton Centre.
Oh, can you imagine if they were supported by Mexorissy? Whatever they're called. I can't pronounce it.
I'm looking it up in a minute.
I'll find it in a sec. What do you want to do next?
Can we do them?
So when did you first hear them? About 5 minutes ago, actually. They've changed my life. I want to go to Espanol. We'll see you next time. We'll probably do a British band next time because we've done 2 American ones. I'm thinking maybe the granddaddy of all British bands, Mexorissy. No, we'll probably be. We'll leave that as a hint.
Okay.
I'm going to change it to just like Swedish metal band. Okay, we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bye.